What's up, everybody? It's me, Johnny G, and welcome back to the channel. Today, it's going to be a little bit of a departure from our regular, typical video. So what I mean by that is it's not going to be gaming. It's not going to be an unboxing or a food review or anything like that today. We're going to be doing something a little bit different that I hope you guys enjoy. And it's going to be kind of along the line of following a passion of mine, and rather a dream, an interest. And basically what we're going to be doing is we are going to be testing dubbing something, doing voiceover. Now the question is why? Well, first of all, for those of you who have previously subscribed and watched my content, if you haven't, make sure you do, because you're going to want to follow along this journey. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you may enjoy my other content as well. But for those of you that have been around, you may have already known and heard me talk about my dreams and my goals for the future, and you may have also heard me say that one of my goals is to be a voice of a character in Arknights. Now, I would love to be a character in the game, but I would also enjoy being part of the anime as well, if there was ever the opportunity. Now, do I have experience in this? Absolutely not, but I'm willing to admit that because I have a very healthy respect for the voice acting industry. And I've learned a lot about it. I don't know a ton, but I know enough because I've interacted with voice actors at anime conventions. I've listened to them talk about the process, especially the ones who have been the ADR directors and the people who have talked about where things go in the process, how it works, how they go from point A to point B. And I love watching YouTube videos and stuff on that and learning from these actors and watching their live streams on occasion where they do fan Q&A stuff and they answer a lot of questions. I love listening to that, and I've always been interested in it. And I've always wanted to try my hand at it. I can do funny voices, I can do character voices, I can manipulate my voice, and so on and so forth. And you guys have heard me do stuff like that when I do my narrations for Arknights. Am I good at it? Not at all. Do I have previous experience? That's a little bit of a different story. Now, I've never done voice acting itself, but I have had experience working with my voice in a couple of different ways too. So the first one is the first college that I went to out of high school had an ice hockey team. And I tried out for them, unfortunately didn't make it, and it just came down to my ice experience versus the next guy that they picked over me. And in the end, I still worked for the team. I ended up wanting to stick close to it, to follow their process, to see what I could do to improve, to watch them play, to hopefully the following year join them. And in that process, one of the things I ended up doing for them was I became what they called the game day manager. And I did scorekeeping and things on the rink, or in the middle of the box, in the middle of the rink, while they were playing on the ice. And I did the arena announcing. So I'd announce their names, I would announce the end of the period, I would announce events and things in between period, talk about the players as they did the intro, the starting lineup stuff. I did the announcing for the arena, and I got a lot of praise for it. And I felt really good about that. I have a plaque and a jacket from my days of doing that, which was really, really fun. And that's just one thing that I've done. And of course, you guys know about my work here on YouTube and the stuff that I've done for my narration and things, which isn't really a lot. And none of this is professional by any means. But then the only other experience that I have that could lean into this for me in my favor is that after that first college, so long story short, I attended that college for 2 years, but with the birth of my first son, my wife and I needed to take a step back, and I was having too much trouble focusing. So I took a step back and I ended up going to a community college. At that community college, one of the classes I had was for public speaking, and the teacher had work in radio. During that time, they were looking at taking over a local message channel that was on our televisions in the area. And that message channel basically would play music and would show current events and like calendar type stuff for the area, for the community-based things. And it would just flip this like PowerPoint style presentation 24/7 on this channel. Our school was getting a deal to take that over, and he needed people to record voiceover work for that radio, to introduce songs, to introduce events and other things going on. And because he knew I had a passion and an interest in voice acting, he asked me to be part of that. And I got to be part of it. I got to record a lot of voiceover and stuff like that for that channel. And it was a very, very fun and enriching learning experience for what it took to actually be part of it. So I do have some minor experience that could play in my favor, but again, none of it's professional, none of it's legitimate work to where you could go out there and hear my voice somewhere right now. I also did, on a side note, when I was with that hockey team, we had a travel like weekend tournament where we went to Buffalo, New York, and I ended up staying in a hotel with them, and I did live broadcasting online for one of their games against a team up in New York. It was a really cool, really fun experience. I forget the site that I used, but I ended up sharing out the link, and the parents who were spread out across the East Coast were able to listen in and hear their kids play, or hear the conversation, the broadcast about their kids playing. So that was unique. That was fun to do. But again, none of this is professional. So with that being said, I have a mic here. It's an Audio-Technica 2035. I have a pop filter on it, shock mount that's with it. This was given to me, and it was brand new. So I'm excited to try it out and see what it is, because I did some research on it, and this kind of worked in my favor. I was starting to research what it would cost to get a voiceover microphone, or something that could be used to record from home voiceover. And this, actually a lower model of this, the 2020, I believe it was recommended as one of the options, among some other things. But this particular mic got a lot of good reviews and things from what I could see in regards to recording voiceover, recording audiobook type stuff, and even recording music. So I thought, well, you know what? This is pretty cool. I didn't pay anything for it. It was given to me. So I'm going to try and use it. I'm going to try and follow and test it to do what I'm interested in and see how things go. So that's the process, the beginning of the process. We're going to use this mic. I'm going to hook it up. The mic that you're currently listening to me on is an Elgato Wave DX, I believe. It's a XLR microphone made by Elgato, and it has the Wave XLR device. I have it sitting on the desk here that this is connected into, and then from a USB from the device into the computer. And the software that they have for this is really, really nice. So I already have EQ and a noise gate, and I have a noise removal all set up to kind of help curb things for my background noise, and for my voice and things when I'm recording and when I'm streaming live. And this is the primary mic that I use. However, we're going to hook this mic up, and I'm going to record with those things on so you can hear what it sounds like that. Just a quick little couple of seconds of this is what it sounds like now that we have that hooked up. And then I'm going to turn all those things off and let you hear the raw audio, because then what we're going to do is we're going to be recording the raw audio for the example that I'm dubbing. Now, what am I dubbing? We are going to use a scene, and it's one of my favorite scenes from the Arknights anime. The very first episode of season 2, Perish in Frost. The tail end of the episode, we get the introduction of the character Frostnova. But her introduction is accompanied by one of the other reunion villains, Mephisto, giving her a grand entrance and a grand introduction. It's just a short clip that I'll be using. It's only like the part of him speaking is like 10 seconds-ish, whatever. So this is just something small. We're probably going to end up with multiple takes of it until I hit what I want, because we're going to be following this really closely of recording my voice in the raw. And then once it's done, once we have the take that we want to, it's going to be matched up with the lip flaps of the character. I'm going to have the clip in front of me, and you guys will see me recording through Audacity while I'm looking at the clip and trying to match those things up, doing the takes, hitting the emotion and the vocal register and range that I want to. And we're going to find those tones, those portions that I think fit best. We're going to match the lip flaps. We're going to put it all together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the audio. Again, it's going to be a raw audio recording. We're going to edit it, cut out the background noise and things like that. And then from there, we will try to sync it up with the clip. I'll put the music back into it, put it all together, and then you guys will get to see the final piece of my attempt at English dubbing that particular scene. Now, hopefully, in the end, because I'm going to keep things short and sweet, we're going to keep just that short clip. Hopefully, it doesn't violate anything, or YouTube doesn't take it down, or Yostar doesn't, and hopefully they all understand YouTube, Yostar, Arknights team, whatever. I hope you guys all see this and understand. I'm putting this in the description as well. This is for entertainment purposes only. This is just for a little bit of fun, and hey, maybe consider it an audition for something. But this is the start of me trying to build my portfolio and test and learn things. Now, again, going into the fact that I don't have a lot of previous experience, I don't know a lot about the EQ stuff. I don't know a lot about professionally working and editing the audio in post. Once I get the raw audio done, I've already done a couple of tests to try and get something sounding decent. And once I get it done, I'm going to be working in order to, first off, I'm going to be doing a noise removal in Audacity, and we're going to reduce the background noise to where that's kind of cut out. And then after that, we're going to do a couple of preset EQs that they have set in. One's a bass boost, treble boost, and a low roll off for speech. Once that's finished, we'll take all that, we'll normalize it, and then have our finished audio clip. Now, I'm sure a sound engineer or ADR engineer or anybody could easily go in and edit it and make it sound a lot better than what my voice is going to sound now. And hey, if any of you are watching this and you decide, hey, I want to try that, I want to make you sound even better and see if you can do that, go for it. I'm giving you the okay. Go for it. Make me sound better. I want to see what it sounds like with a more professional editing than what I have. And I'll keep all these files so that I have them for future reference and things like that as well to compare and whatnot. But I'm excited to do this. And it's going to be an interesting journey and an interesting test here to see what I can sound like in the end. Now, before we actually get to the recording process, before I swap the mic, there's a couple things that I tend to think about with the voice acting process. And it's strange because you see a lot of people who go to these conventions and things like that and who meet with the voice actors that overlook, they think it's just easy. They think you just doing a character voice and being funny, or, you know, they think it's just a simple record, you're done kind of process. But from what I've learned from a lot of these professionals is there's more to it than just recording your voice. There's research for the character that you're doing. There's research into what exactly you're trying to hit. You're trying to plan for that voice, and you're trying to plan for what you want to sound like, how you want it to come off, the emotional range, as well as just the overall feel of the character and how your voice can turn into that. And what I mean by that is you kind of have to break it down and think about when you look at the character and you compare them. So we'll use a couple of other examples for Arknights. And when we're looking at Mephisto, who again, that is who I'm dubbing over today, I'm going to be using inspiration from the tones of his Japanese voice and kind of work with that. But we're looking at a younger character, someone who's a little more youthful. He's not a kid, but he's not a full-grown adult really either. He's kind of in between. And when you look at his story, when he was bound by Tallulah, he was a kid at that time, but he's grown a little bit. He's gotten older, but he's got a higher pitched voice. It's not extremely squeaky high, but it's not really low either. He's not fully matured and out there yet, but he's also got a little bit of like a maniacal tone to him as well when he speaks. You can see it with the expressions on his face and the overall way he talks. And if you compare him to other characters, like for example, if we use some of the bigger adult male characters, because, you know, obviously I'm looking at male characters here for comparison for how I'm going to break down my vocal range. Look at somebody like Mountain or Ace. Now, Ace, we've heard him in the anime. You don't hear him. He doesn't have a voice in the game. But Ace comes off, he's got a little bit of a rugged appearance. He's a military looking guy, and he's older. He's a fully grown adult male. He's a little bulkier, but he doesn't seem to have like an extremely big build like what Mountain does in comparison. We'll get to Mountain in a second. So when I picture Ace, I think of something along the lines of kind of like maybe like a Solid Snake-ish kind of voice. So he gives off that look and that vibe where he may sound like this. You know, doctor, give us an order. We'll take care of business. We'll get it done for you. We'll protect you at all costs. Something along those lines is fitting to me with his character. Maybe a little bit gruffer, a little bit deeper, a little bit raspy, or something to that effect. Come on, doctor. Don't you worry. I've got your back. But then you compare that to somebody like Mountain. Again, another fully grown, bulky, much bulkier. He's also a big tiger, a big furry tiger. But when you look at his character, he seems a little bit more soft-spoken in some respects. He may be more violent, more outspoken when it comes to combat, and have that kind of roar kind of thing, that roar, that tiger-like mentality. But when you break him down a little bit further and you see when he's kind of soft-spoken, and I've already done a little bit of a parody for him, so to speak, not so much a parody, but an impression, I guess would be the better word for it, during my gameplay, because when you listen and compare his Japanese voice, you listen to how he speaks and how big he is, he's got a real deep voice. He's deep, he's depth, he's really low, but he speaks a little more soft-spoken, a little more eloquently. Doctor, I've got your back. Don't worry. I'll protect you wherever we go. Just keep an eye out. Something like that. You've got to have that deeper depth for Mountain. And then again, maybe a little bit more outspoken and a little bit more power to his voice when he's in combat and things like that. And then on the other hand, you got some more youthful but adult characters who may be along the lines of someone like Vigil or Tequila. And Vigil, he talks kind of in a vocal range like this, where he can kind of go down a little bit more when he's talking. And I'm not using the accent, obviously, but he speaks a little more up here and then down in, and then he kind of gives that youthful impression and things to him. Or someone like Tequila. And Tequila kind of gives me a vibe like this, because he seems like he's a little bit like a surfer, you know. He likes the ocean. He's beachy type character or something. But Doctor, I'm up for anything. Just call me. I'll come and watch your back, you know. Those are impressions that I get from those kind of characters. Then you go even further down, and we pass up like the age range and things of what Mephisto would be, and you think of a more youthful character. And I've done kids' voices on the episodes of Arknights and things, especially more recently. I had the two young ones on the Hortuste Escapismo event. There was the two young, the boy and the girl, the sister and brother, that were really young. In their voices, I tried to do something a lot higher and like, oh no, mister, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bump into you. Are you okay? I'm sorry for bothering you kind of voice. Mephisto isn't down there. Mephisto isn't as deep as the others. He's not as high-pitched as those kids. But we kind of got to go somewhere in between. Not quite in the Tequila and Vigil range, but not quite those kids range. So we're looking at something in between there. And that's where I come across where I'm envisioning my vocal register and comparing it to what his Japanese voice in the anime is. And it's higher, but it's not quite as high. But it's also not low. We can't have that lowness to it. And I start to get a little raspy when I'm talking like this, but my name is Mephisto, and I am a reunion caster. Something in around there is what I'm going for. And I'm hoping when we put it together with the clip, with the final lines, that it will sound good. Now, there's also another part of this process that is more of the writing it of things. And if we look at the official subtitles for what Crunchyroll had for the translation for his line, he says, "And there she is. Let us give a round of applause to the real star of the show. The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis." And then he whispers, "Frostnova." He gets real low and he whispers that. So I look at that, and again, we're trying to match the lip flaps on the animation. We're trying to make it look like he's actually saying it. I don't think I'll do my best at it, but I did a little bit of rewriting, and I did something more along the lines, "And look who has arrived," seemed to fit and match his vocal movements a little bit better. And then I put up, "Let's give it up for the star of the show," I think that's the line I wrote for it. I have the script with me attached to a video that I'll be using when I record this. And when I match those things up, it looks a little closer to what he's saying. So I just have to watch it and try to be careful with matching that up. So rewriting that particular portion was great because you see his face during that. The other lines aren't seen, or you see Frostnova on the screen instead. So I'm able to read those without having to match anything. So I kept those as it is. Now, this is going to be fun. It's going to be a little bit difficult, but I'm excited to see the final results. So let's start by swapping the mic I'll let you guys hear what it sounds like with the current settings that I have set up. And then we're going to disable that, so all we hear is the raw audio. You'll hear the background noise and everything going on. And then we're going to start with Audacity and get recording. All right, so I went ahead and switched over the mic here. And right now, you can see I have it hooked up in front of me. I'm going to move it just a little bit. So I've got the AT2035 hooked up. And what you're hearing me now, again, is just the settings in Elgato. So I have an EQ naturally set up. I have a noise gate on, and I have the Elgato noise removal on to help eliminate my background noise. Now, they have this new tool called Voice Focus that's in there now that uses AI power to remove background noise and make you sound clearer. But it kind of gives, to me at least, a little bit of like a phone call-y-ish kind of thing, like a conference calling sound to it when it does that, and it doesn't take in your other plugins. At least it doesn't seem to. So I don't have that active. I haven't used that yet. So what we're going to do here is now you can hear me like this with the same settings as my other mic. We're going to remove those so that you can hear the raw audio and what I sound like without my EQ, without that noise gate, and without the noise removal on. So let's go ahead. I'm going to monitor it to make sure it sounds good. First the noise removal, then the noise gate, and then the EQ. So there it is. That is the raw audio. What you're hearing now, you're hearing everything around me, all the raw audio, all the sound, and how it is naturally. So here we go. Now, hopefully that doesn't bother you guys too much. Once we're done with the recording, we'll click all those things back on. But let me go ahead and get Audacity opened up. And then we will open up my timing clip. So we got Audacity up, we've got my clip. We're basically ready to get started on testing recording this. So I have things in here. It's just going to set up and record a mono channel for this and just my voice. And let's just see. Okay, we are set. Quick test just to make sure it's picking up. Yep, it's picking up my voice. So we'll go ahead and delete that. Now, another thing is on the back of this microphone, there is a low cut as well as a pad on here. So the pad is just to, like, for doing things like vocals and doing things like music, you can switch that on and it drops the decibel recording to like a -10 off the bat. So it helps to reduce things and reduce the cutoff point. And then the other thing is supposed to help for like speech roll off, I believe. So we're keeping those turned on manually on the mic, but those are on the microphone itself. All right, let's start the recording now. We're going to record a set of seconds here with just empty sound. And what I want is no sound whatsoever except for the background noise, because we're going to need that for the noise removal in the end. So that's going to be dead silent, and we'll do it again at the very, very end in case we need to, because then we'll cut out all the extra takes that we don't need, that aren't good, and we'll have just that one that we're going to edit and finish. But we need this for the noise removal. So there'll be a few empty seconds here, and then I'll do a countdown, and we'll start. Here we go. All right, so that's enough time. Let's go ahead. I'll do a 3, 2, 1, start the clip, and we'll go. So here we go. Start the clip. And look who has arrived. Let's all give it up for the star of the show. The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra. The princess of the Yetis. Frostnova. Okay, so not a bad first take, but I didn't match the lip flaps very well, so it's going to take a couple tries to get that timing down. And I think I need to adjust my range and things a little bit, so we'll get that. Let's get ready and let's do take 2. Start the clip. And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis, Frostnova. Close. Close, but still not where I want it to be. So let's get ready, and we'll do it again. Take number 3. Start the clip. And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis, Frostnova. All right, I like where I'm coming off there with the trail off with the whisper at the end for the Frostnova. I'm liking that much. But we still have to kind of get things a little more perfected for the intro, the beginning part. Excuse me. I'm close to matching the lips a little bit to make it sound a little more natural. So here we go. This is take number 4. Start the clip. And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis, Frostnova. Almost there. We're getting there. And you see how a lot of voice actors will do this stuff. Voice actors, even in regular acting, where it takes multiple takes to get something down. It takes practice, it takes timing, it takes a lot. So, take number 5. Let's go. Start the clip. And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis, Frostnova. Almost. Almost. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting to where I picture it, to where I'm envisioning it when I'm looking at the clip, when I'm trying to hear the voice and trying to compare back and forth. We're getting there. So let's go ahead and try. This will be take number 6. Start the clip. And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis, Frostnova. My voice caught while I was trying to whisper there. Otherwise, that was getting to be a pretty good take. I'm wondering if I'm going a little too low with the voice, not quite as youthful as I'm aiming for, but it sounded, in my mind, good compared to looking at him, but we'll see. We'll try a couple more things. But here's take number 7. Start the clip. And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis, Frostnova. Haha. All right. We're getting there. Little by little. We're picking it up, and I'm liking. So, take number 8. Let's keep it rolling. Start the clip. And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis, Frostnova. It seems like with each take, I'm picking up on something that I like, and I'm trying to adjust it as we go. So, take number 9. Here we go. Start the clip. And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show!
The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis, Frostnova.
I do like that step down when we're introducing her. The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra,
The princess of the Yetis. But I need to keep that vocal range up here. I need to be up higher. I can't be too low. I can't be too deep in my tone. But I've got to be up higher because I'm Mephisto. I'm a villain.
So, take number 10. Here we go. Start the clip.
And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis, Frostnova.
Nice, not bad. Now, another thing to note is I have actually already done this once before. When I did this part in the game, I kind of had a good take on this that I thought was decent, but I feel like this is more experience and this is different. This is a little bit different than what the game was. So trying to match this is a little tougher because that was just a picture with dialogue. This is moving mouth and stuff. This is emotion, a little bit more emotional range to understand. So it's different, but here we go. Take number 11. Start the clip.
And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis, Frostnova.
Now, I went a little lower with that one. Not quite happy with it. A little happier with the timing, but not quite happier with where the tone was going. So, take number 12. Start the clip.
And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis, Frostnova.
Regressing a little bit. We're regressing. That's not quite what I want. Let's keep it rolling. Take number 13. Start the clip.
And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis, Frostnova.
A little closer, a little bit closer to what I'm aiming for. All right, let's carry it on from there. Take 14. Start the clip.
And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis, Frostnova.
Almost. I think the timing is really, really close there. A couple more takes and we might have this. So, take number 15. Start the clip.
And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis, Frostnova.
I think that was it. I think that was it. That might have been it. We'll do one more. But we may have just got the take that I want that probably is going to sound best to match what I'm going for. So, take number 16. Start the clip.
And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis, Frostnova. We got it. All right, I'm happy. Now that we're done with that, let's go ahead and we're gonna stop the recording. We're gonna go ahead over and I will turn on my audio here so you guys will be able to hear that over again. Let's go ahead and start that here. And I'm gonna adjust my audio here so you're no longer hearing all the background noise. All right, so we've got that fixed up. Let's go ahead and play this. And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis, Frostnova. Okay, I think I like what we got. So, we're going to go ahead and first things first, we're going to clip out this remaining audio, which is just excess that you heard me recording there. And let's go ahead and go from here. Before I do anything else, let's save this. So I'm actually going to put that back in, that little end piece, but we're going to save this as a project file. Save project as, and we are going to do Mephisto dub test. We're going to save that to my desktop. All right, so now that we've got that saved, we can feel free to edit it without saving it any further. And just make sure this is the end of where, oop, this is way back. Okay, so we're going to cut this much. Now, one of the things I had there was a couple spots in that clip where I was breathing. And you could hear that breathing, so I may have to cut that out somehow. And we'll get there. But let's first go and scroll back with this. If it will let me. Maybe we can zoom out. Okay, so here's the beginning. Let's cut all this out that we can. Cut that. And let's zoom in. Okay, what's this? All right, that's that. So we are going to cut that out as well. And now we're going to take from this point all the way back to the back. Now, again, what we're going to do here in order to try and clean this up and sound this a little bit better, we are going to start with noise reduction. Now, typically, when I've seen this noise reduction done, and with the research that I did to learn this and to make it a little bit better, is, again, recommended that you start with a few seconds of dead audio so that it picks up on the background noise and you're able to gain the profile. And with the noise reduction tool in here, there's different settings, and they default to 12 decibel, 6.0 for sensitivity, and 3 for this bands, frequency smoothing bands. But I found when I was testing things earlier with the amount of background noise and things that I have, setting the, I leave the sensitivity in the bands to where they're at, the 6 and the 3, but the noise reduction for decibels, I set that to 40 and I was able to cut it out. So we're going to do that. Let's go into noise reduction. We're going to hit get noise profile. Now we're going to select all of it. And we're going to start with that noise reduction. And again, 6, 40, 6, and 3, we hit OK. Now that stuff's all gone. And when we listen to it, there's nothing there. So let's go up here and here. And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra, the princess of the Yetis, Frostnova. Okay, so we got that much, but it sounds a little hollow, a little empty. That's okay. What we're going to do
is we're going to go in and do the EQ now. So we've done that noise reduction. Let's go ahead and go into filter curve for EQ. And again, like I said before, we're going to do presets just because I don't have a lot of experience with the EQ, and what I did with my Elgato mic and what you're hearing with this through the Wavelength software was just following some simple tutorials on YouTube to kind of get it to where I thought I sounded okay. And I like the sound of my voice. So we're going to use these factory presets and we'll do one at a time. We're going to start with the bass boost. Hit OK. And you can see how it changes up there. We're going to do it again. We're going to go in filter curve. This time we're going to do a treble boost and hit OK. And then last but not least, we do a low roll off for speech and then hit OK. And then we're going to hit normalize. Now let's listen to it.
And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra! The princess of the Yetis! Frostnova!
Okay, so again, I'm no professional at this, but it sounds a lot better than what it did. And it sounds a little less tinny. It's not as boomy and things as like what my voice is sounding naturally coming through here. But I think it sounds pretty good. And ultimately, what I'm going to have to do is sync this up in the end. To me, it kind of almost sounds like an audiobook recording or like a low quality speaker that is coming through. And I'm sure that somebody else could polish this up and make this sound a lot better. But now comes the point where I'm going to sync it up with the clip and get it ready so you guys can see the final product. So give me some time to go ahead and do that. And then we'll come back and you guys can see it. Here we go. All right. So I'm a little bit emotional right now because I just took the time and edited the final piece. Now, you guys might pick up on this, but there are two specific spots where the music, because of the fact that I took the original clip, I muted it, and I got the same song out of the soundtrack, I had to cut it in parts to try and fit it, to try and make it match the way that it sounds in the anime, because it sounds just a little bit different, these couple spots like where the cutoff is for where the music trails down and stuff. So I had to kind of mash parts together to make it sound like it was that and sync it up. So it doesn't quite sound as good at those points as far as the music goes. But if you ignore that and overlook it, I managed to overlay my voice. And the moment I heard it, wow, to see it and to hear it like that, it's so crazy. It's so strange. What a feeling and what an experience. But it made me a little bit emotional to hear it. Now, is it the best work? Absolutely not. But we did it. And I'm sure that somebody with better audio editing skills than I have can probably pick this up, take it from where it is, and make it sound even better and sound more polished, the overall final voice portion. But here we are. Let's go ahead and I will watch the final clip with you guys so you can see it right here. Here we go. Oh, man.
And look who has arrived! Let's all give it up for the star of the show! The nightmare of the Northwest Tundra! The princess of the Yetis! Frostnova!
There it is. So, let me know what you guys think. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What I could have done better, what I could have done differently, or what you think overall of how it sounds and how my voice syncs up with Mephisto, my impression of him. I like the way this mic sounds, and I think this could potentially open the doors for us to do some more cool stuff in the future. And of course, when I'm streaming, when I'm gaming and things, I'll probably go back to my Elgato so that I can keep this a little separate for these kind of things, you know, recording dialogue and voiceover type work. Or again, when I do get around to covering a song, because I said I'm going to do that at some point this year. And I've got some confidence now in maybe doing it sooner than later. We'll see, especially knowing that I can adjust my voice a little bit more in using this, but I took what little knowledge I had and turned it into what you guys just saw. And I'm so excited and so happy about it. And if for some reason any parts get muted or anything on YouTube, I'll try to post it in other places so that you guys can at least see the clip. And we'll put the link in the YouTube description and whatnot and go on from there. I'll re-upload or something. We'll figure it out. But I am still very much interested in making my dream come true of being the voice of a character in Arknights, whether it's in the game, whether they eventually dub the anime and I could get involved with that for some of these characters that don't have a voice like that, like Mephisto, like Ace, like whoever that appears, that talks, but does not talk in the game. Even Doctor himself. That being a main character role, I know I have no chance at getting. Being where I am and what little following I do have, I have no shot at that. Plus, I would probably need an agent and all these other things involved to help shoot and book for the parts. But who knows? Maybe in the future that kind of stuff could happen. I think I might do some more practice and things like this. And one of you gave me a really awesome idea once of doing vocal impressions for the characters in game, the operators who don't have a voice. So I might put together a little presentation, and with that presentation, what I might do is pick a couple of their voice lines, like 2 or 3 voice lines of each character, and do an impression of those. And put that out there as a fun little thing and a way to continue to build my portfolio of what I can do with my voice. And hopefully I can use that to go ahead and maybe put myself out there and audition for some of these indie titles and things, indie games and animations and things that are getting put out on YouTube and things nowadays. And, you know, I see things on X all the time where people are posting with auditions and or like asking for people to audition and stuff. They're looking for, sometimes it's just out there for the experience. They ask if you can just, you know, work for the experience, especially if you're not, you know, a professional or new to something like this. And that would be a great kickstart for me, I think. So I may try to get involved in some projects and things like that. And we'll see what the future holds. But again, let me know what you guys think. For somebody who has no experience in the field, minimal experience from what I told you about using my voice in any kind of a setting that could be considered similar, and with my passion for what I just did, let me know what you think. And if you'd like to hear me try my hand at maybe another character, a specific character, whether it's from Arknights, whether it's from an anime or a movie or something, a game, whatever, let me know. Let me know in the comments. We'll take the time and maybe I'll give it a try. Again, we'll maybe make another video where we could do a handful of characters from different media and different things on top of the one I just mentioned for Arknights alone. But we could do a variety of characters and do some impressions and impersonations and things for those ones that don't have an English dub voice yet or something. So let's see what the future holds and what other things I can do and how much more fun we can have with this little toy right here, this mic. But as always, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to hang out here on the channel and to watch my videos. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you all. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you can. If you're new to the channel, help me continue to grow and help me continue to chase my dreams. With that said, that's it for this one, and I will see you guys next time.